one.
Part 2.
Part 2.
Episode 161.
I'm Sheila, also known as Sheila D37.
And I'm Wendy, also known as Penny Winnie. And if this is your first time viewing, thanks for checking us out. And if you are a return viewer, thank you for coming back.
We're both weaving in some ends.
As we work. Yes.
So, any show notes or any shout outs or anything?
Yeah,
like that?
there are, just a reminder, we have a few more days till the end of the month. So, get your contest entries in.
That month went by quick.
I know, it's
But
due
I think
next
it's
week.
because I didn't show up for 2 of them, right?
Yeah, maybe.
2 or 1?
1.
1? It seems like more.
It's the end of the month is coming up for our stash down knit along. There's
Right.
1 more month left on our sock knitting knit along.
I was just gonna say that.
And we're giving away a free copy of the Yvonne's Wings shawl. So
and we'll give away that copy next week as well.
That's going to be drawn for next week.
Right.
And next week I'm also going to draw for the fibers that I've offered to give up. And I think we've gotten enough people where I think I'm probably just going to draw 1 person and
give them everything.
And give them, well, 1 person for each fiber.
Oh, all right.
If there were only like a few people, I was going to try to split it up, but then I started realizing that's going to be a lot of postage.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought, we have enough people. We'll just draw for it, and it'll be like that. That'll be fine. So that's all going to be happening next week. So tune in to next week's show for all the prizes. And I think that's it for shout-outs.
Trying to think.
I'm trying to think, but nothing's happening.
No, it's not. It's just one of those days. So on the dance card, I have 1 thing on the dance card, 1 thing semi-actively on the dance card. So I'm working on Mystik Spirals by Josh Reichs. I hope that's right. I keep forgetting to check. So I'm doing it in my Snitches Seriously colorway. And I love the colors. They're so muted, but I just love them. So this is what it looks like. I've gotten 1 spiral done, and I'm about maybe a ½ an inch from the heel, and I'm going to do the fish lips kiss heel. I think I got that one right.
That's okay.
Just because it's easier for me to do that, and it's somewhat mindless. So this is my sock
I love that yarn.
I do too. Feel it too.
I know, it's nice.
Feels really nice.
I was thinking of buying some of that Gnome Garden yarn.
Really?
And making a pair of socks out of it just because I like it so much.
Yeah, it is really pretty. I think she puts it up frequently. Well, whenever she puts up on that update. When I get an update, I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know.
She doesn't do them often. She does them every couple of months. She's an independent dyer, but I love this. It's definitely got a pattern to it as for the striping.
Mm-hmm.
Can't see it right now, but
I like it.
I did this on 64 stitches. So I modified Josh's pattern for 64. There is a reason why it's 68. My foot, it fits fine. I think if I was to do it on the leg, it probably wouldn't fit so much. Get it over the heel.
The striping part does draw in, and I realized that was why it was 68.
That's what it looks like. It does draw in. I'm sure blocking it will help.
Yeah, mine, you can't. It doesn't draw in anymore now that I've worn them.
But I'm okay with that. I just won't put the spiral up on the leg. And I've also come to realize that this actually wasn't that bad. I could probably do this again.
It was pretty mindless.
I'm a mindless, as in, like, generic sock person because I like to knit and read at the same time. And if I have to think about something, it doesn't work well. But
didn't it go fast with that, though?
Yeah, it did.
I was like, it seemed to make the foot go so much faster doing that. I don't know why.
I changed a couple things. I tried just doing the knit front and back here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nope. So I went back to the other way just because it hides it better.
Yeah.
But there's so many different increases you could do. But
what wrap did you use? Did you use the German?
No. I just
did your own.
I just did what worked, I guess. But this, because of this, I'm keeping this the heel because this side looks a little bit better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I screwed up on the first time.
I'm going to make another pair because I bought some more of that fluorescent yarn.
Oh, that's right, you did.
And I'm going to try it with the German
Oh, good.
wrap and see how that looks.
So this is all I have actively on the needles.
Wow.
Well, I told you I'm gonna becoming more of a monogamous knitter because of the time.
That's good.
Who knows? That may change. I don't know. We'll
so
see.
I have two things actively on the needles. The first thing is my Brush Creek Cowlette by Karina Spencer. I figured out what was wrong with it, and I have sorted the problem.
Well, okay, yeah.
So I have started knitting on it. And you can't really see it, but I'm in the dark forest green. So that's good. I am knitting it out of hand spun, and this was a fiber optic gradient in the Blackbird colorway.
Can't wait to see that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really beautiful, and I'm getting really close to the brighter green. Like I only have a little bit more of the dark before I get into the brighter green.
You going? Let me see.
This is the neck.
I wanted to see the ball of yarn. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Right here.
That's okay.
That's
You're drawing from the inside.
Yeah, that's still the stuff that I had to rip it out again. When I ripped it out the last time, I miscounted where the beginning of the row was, so I was 4 stitches off. So when I got to the center, the pattern was not working out properly. And I spent about an hour last night, and I worked out that was the issue, and I ripped it back again and cast it on. I started again with the right count, the right beginning, and now it's fine. And I'm just gonna start working on it more. I knit on it for a little while last night, but it took me a while to figure out why the numbers weren't working out. And like I said, this is not a difficult pattern. I think I've been trying to do it up until this point, it's been all written instructions, no chart. So that slowed me down quite a bit because I had to read I just knit a lot faster on things if I can look at a chart. Then once I got on the charted pattern, I've joined in the round, and I guess the first 2 times that I knit it, I mistook where the beginning of the round was supposed to be, and it kept being off. And I kept not being able to figure out why, but I finally figured it out. And that's just, it's knitter error. It's not pattern error. It's me. So, but now I think I've got it straightened out. So I did work on it a little bit last night. So that's the first thing on the needles. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, you've seen the second thing that I started on the needles. I'm going to knit another Star Leaves shawl by Jenny Johnson Jonan. And I have almost finished with the...
What yarn is that?
This is the... I'm never going to remember the name of it. I have to pull out the skein. This is Fleece Artist Saldana 2 in the Stardust colorway.
Pretty.
I was gifted by Siberian Cat. Remember, she sent me that skein and a couple of short skeins that were left over from the sweater. So when I went to Mass Sheep and Wool, Webb's tent sale, I bought these beads. They're all different, kind of they're like blackish, but they're rainbow.
They're iridescent.
Iridescent. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. So I have knit almost the whole part of the top of the shawl. I think I have one more repeat of the star flowers, and then I'll start the leaves. And this is about not even an hour's worth of knitting. It goes so fast. And it especially goes fast for me because I've knitted already, so I'm like familiar with it. You already know it, yeah. So I'm enjoying that quite a bit. And good. As with all my lace knitting projects, I'm using this... what was the name of the bag vendor now? It just went out of my head right when I said it. It must have a name on it.
Diana Couture.
Diana Couture, and it's a skein keeper. It has like a little snap thing and a hole where your stuff comes out. I like to keep my lace in that so that it doesn't get all crazy. And somewhere I have one of her needle keepers too, but I think I might have taken it out. But these are the beads that I'm using. They didn't have enough of any one kind. I went to the bead store next to Webb's. They didn't have any of one kind, so I bought 3 that were very similar, and I put them in a big dish, and I blended them all together. And so you can't tell now that there were different beads. So But that made like one color. Like there were some, they were just all like, one had a little bit more purple in it and one had a little bit more gold in it.
Okay.
And I just blended them all together. So that was a good way to get 3,000 beads.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing that's on the needle, actively on the needles. And that's it for me on the needles.
Oh, all right. So what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to weave in some ends because I did finish something. I finished Trillian by Martina Bell.
Yeah.
And I'm just weaving in some of the ends. Sorry. Done in just 1 minute. I don't know about you guys, but I like to weave back and forth a couple of times.
I usually go one way down, one way back, and then I go through a piece of the yarn with the end of it so that it like can grab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I used Cherry Tree Hill Sakatumi Silver Streak colorway, and I knitted until just about 11 ounces were left. I saw that on Ravelry, which I'm glad I did because I had maybe this size of yarn left. So this is what it looks like.
It will block out quite a bit.
Yeah.
Looks nice.
It does. There's really no pooling.
Yeah, I like the way that it came out.
You know, you get your splotches and everything. There was a couple of knots in it, which is what I was weaving through. Actually, that's backwards.
And that's probably why it had been sold at discount brand name yarns. It probably had a few more knots than... I like it.
It'll fit good. It's like a, small type of cowl. I can just tuck that in or something. Where the other end go.
It'll probably block out quite a bit too.
Yeah, once it's relaxed. I followed the instructions. The instructions said 7% of your yarn. 7% of my yarn left over was just shy of 8 grams. I knit until it was about 11 grams? 11 grams, I'm sorry. I knit until they were about 7 grams would have been 7%. 8 grams would have been 7%, I'm sorry. So I knit until about 11 grams, and I probably have about 2 ounces left. But that, if I had knit to 7...
2 grams, not 2 ounces.
I keep saying ounces. If I had knit
2 ounces would be a lot.
7 grams left, I probably would have been going like the...
It would have been playing yarn chicken.
Yeah, I really don't want to do that. So I'm very happy with this. I'm also very happy that it's off the needles, but...
After a while, you do get tired of doing it. I got tired of this.
It's funny how that happens. I mean, I don't get tired of my socks, but I do get tired because, you know why? This grows and grows and grows in the sense of the amount of stitches that you do. Keep adding and adding. My socks are always going to be 64 stitches.
Yeah.
Unless you do a gusset for a sock, but that's something different. So I really enjoyed this. I like the color. I would do this in the future again.
Yeah, I liked that knit. It was very relaxing.
I can't wait to see how this blocks out.
I think it'll be really pretty. I wear mine a lot. It's one of my favorite.
What'd you make yours out of?
I made mine out of hand-spun merino silk blend from Highland Handmaids in the Men in Black colorway. And I wear it a lot. It's one of my go-to scarves for the winter because it's soft and it's really warm because it has silk in it.
Yeah. So.
And it's just a good shape, like it stays on well. Mine is a little bit bigger than that, but I probably spun a little more yardage.
This was 400 yards, roughly.
I think I had a little more yardage than that.
The good thing about this is, this will be one that I'll probably wear for a season and then throw it in the bin.
Goes in the bin. Throw it in the bin.
Throw it in the bin. That's how it works. So that's all I got for Rate My Date.
I have one date to rate. I finished the Bias Cubed Scarf by AEC Designs. I am wearing it. This is how it blocked out. It came out really pretty. I knit it from 2 skeins of Shibui sock in the Breeze colorway, which I think I would, if I was naming this colorway, I would name it Sea Glass because I think it looks like sea glass. It's really pretty. It's got like the greens and the blues. And I knit it with a USG hook, which I think is a 4.5 millimeter, but don't hold me to that. And I basically just knit one whole skein up into it. It's really, really long. So this is how long it turned out. Sheila, just hold that side.
I'm in the middle of weaving.
Sorry that my portion of the show is cramping your style.
You're cramping
It's
my
pretty
style.
long.
Very long.
And then I made a mistake on one end. Where is the end? This end is a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Because you'll see it was supposed to be this wide. And then at one point, where did I make a mistake? Right here, I didn't increase. I forgot to drop down a row, so it I narrowed it by one block.
Oh.
Do you see
so
what I did?
This is the beginning of it?
This was the very beginning. It should have been this wide.
So it wouldn't have been as long.
It wouldn't have been quite as long, but I accidentally decreased it wrong on one row. But it was a very enjoyable pattern to knit, and I did want it to be long because I wanted to be able to do this, where you double it and pull it through, because I think that makes a nice, secure way to wear a scarf, and you can kind of like loosen it up and have this down like this. So it works really well for that. It would work nice wrapped around a couple of times. Like you could drape it around your neck a couple of times. It's nice and open and lacy. I think it's really pretty. I love it. So I was going to give it to my daughter, but I think it's probably going to be too long for her liking. So it probably will end up being mine or going to my mother-in-law, who really likes these colors. So, but I would give that pattern 2 thumbs up. It was very easy to do as long as you know how to crochet. You only have to know a few crochet stitches. I think single crochet, chaining, and double crochet is pretty much all you gotta know. Yeah, it's really not a difficult pattern. Okay. And once you do like a couple of rows, you know how to do it. So maybe I like it better. There we go. This is how it should. So I see that this conversation has continued.
Apparently.
Good thing I turned off my phone.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, really loved it. I would knit it again. And the Shibui sock was awesome.
Well, that's good.
The reason I had 2 skeins of it is because Shibui is put up in like 170 yards per skein.
Right, it's not enough for 2 socks.
So I have always buy Shibui in skeins of 2. And I used up all but, I'll show you, all but this much.
Mm-hmm. That's about what I used too.
Yeah. I could have gotten a little bit more out of it, but like Sheila, I got tired of doing it after. I mean, you saw how long this was.
Yeah.
This is a really long scarf. After a while, I got tired of working on it because it took me a long time. It was like potato chip knitting at first, or crocheting, I guess you would call it. Because I would be like, I'm just going to do like one more row. But then towards the end, I was like, I'm tired of doing this now. Like
I have one more row.
And it's like 12 feet long. It's really long. It's not that long. It's like 7 feet long. It's long.
You don't think it's 12?
I don't know. It's certainly taller than me. I don't know. It could be 12 feet long. It's pretty long. It's pretty darn long.
It is long.
I think it's probably more like 7 or 8 feet. Probably 8 feet long because I put it on those knit picks things, and there were 8 of them. So I'm gonna guess it's like 8 feet long. But it came out really pretty. I like it. So if you are into crochet, check this out. It's free. Bias Cubed by AEC Designs, and if you search for it, you have to search BIAS 3. Don't try to do it the way that it's written, or it won't show up.
And don't put a space between the 3.
No, do it all one. BIAS 3. So, yep, 2 thumbs up. Would do it again.
Oh, good.
It made it quick. It's a good, quick way to use up some yarn and make something nice.
That's good. Whirlwind Romance.
I have Whirlwind Romance. For a minute, I was like waiting you to do something. I'm like,
I don't have anything.
Really? So I showed you last week that I had spun the review spinning. What did you just do?
No, I just looked down and I'm like, holy cow.
I know.
Sorry. We're both on a text thing and iPads and phones are just blaring up.
All of a sudden I see there's like a huge conversation going on. I told them we were recording.
That's why they're talking about us.
I know. probably saying hateful things. Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate.
So I finished the Enchanted Knoll Farms bump that I was working on. I finished the rainbow bump that I got at Maryland, and I did the two review. I did two skeins of the review yarn, and this is what I'm working on now.
Holy cow!
This is called Malala, and it is I think it's a discontinued colorway from Spunky Eclectic. It is on BFL. This is the nicest fiber that I've ever spun. It's so soft, and it spins like butter.
Like butter.
Like butter. So I've been doing this Malala, and this was really funny because I bought this fiber. I bought 2 braids of Malala for Lois when I was personal shopping for her last year.
Yes, I remember.
I bought it at
Mass Sheep and Wool?
I think I did buy it at Mass Sheep and Wool for her. And I liked it so much that when I saw it again, I bought actually, I think I bought her 2 braids and I bought one for myself because I had 1 braid of it. And then I saw another braid of it, I think, at Fiber Revival, and I snatched it right up because I wanted to. But then I couldn't remember for a long time if I had bought another one because I didn't log it into my stash. So, but when I went and did my stash thing, I looked and I found that I did in fact have 2 braids. So, I've already spun the first 4 ounces.
It's pretty.
It's going to be very pretty. It's I don't have to work very hard to make it a pretty thin single.
You gonna apply double ply?
It's going to be a 2-ply. And I have about 1 ounce of it spun on another spindle, but I just brought the raw fiber with me so you could see what it looked like. What I really like about this colorway is these are all pretty much natural. I mean, they're dyed. This is not the natural fiber. It's not this color. But all of the tones in the fiber are natural tones. There's like a brown and a black and a white. And then there's this crazy pop of like hot pink. And
That's
I
so
just
natural.
think that is so gorgeous.
I love it.
I think it's going to be really pretty when it's applied together. So hopefully by next week I'll have that done. And I was talking with my friend Diane about spinning because I met up with her and I had brought her the skeins that I had finished. We usually, when we get together, we usually bring what we've spun and we talk about spinning projects. Like we kind of like spitball these ideas and one or the other of us will be like, oh, I want to try that. And if you've watched the show, you might remember that I did an experiment where I took 3 bumps of the same fiber and I spun it 3 different ways, but I'm going to knit them all in one thing so you can see how it's different. We could come up with ideas like that all the time, and one or the other of us will be like, I'm going to do that. So I was saying that I didn't know what I wanted to spin next, and I've been really spinning a lot lately. I've been on a roll. And we had talked about doing a sweater. She took random bumps from her stash until she had about 2 pounds worth that all had one common color together, and she stripped out all the colors and randomly put them in a bag, and then she would just pull up one thing out, spin it, reach in, pull another one, and the only rule was you couldn't do 2 of the exact same color next to each other. And she made a sweater that way, and I was like, I kind of want to do that. Because I have a lot of blue in my stash, particularly a lot of navy blue and a lot of aqua. So I could easily do it, and it's a really good way. When the finished yarn worked up, it looked like it had been meant to be spun together. So that is going to be my project, and I was talking to her about it, and I'm excited to get started on it. But then I thought that is an ideal project to prep and get ready and do for Tour de Fleece. Just work on that one whole project. So I have like a month to get everything stripped up and put out. So I'm going to do that. And then my next project is something that Diane did that I really loved. She took 1 4-ounce bump that had a range of colors in it. And she stripped out all the cool colors and all the warm colors. And she spun 1 skein of cool and 1 skein of warm. And she knit a pair of mittens with with the 2 stranded mittens, so that the background was like cool and the design was warm or whatever. And I have the perfect bump for that. I got it last year at Fiber Frolic from Port Fibers. It's in the Prickly Pear colorway. I didn't bring it with me today, but that is what that's my next spinning project. So when this is done, I'm going to pull that out, strip it into the colors, and start spinning it. So I'm really kind of excited, like having these ideas. And the sweater idea, I'll show more when I'm making progress with it, because if you are like me and you have a lot of like bumps, like 4-ounce bumps in your stash, and you're like, I don't really know what to do with this, and you haven't, you can actually find a way to blend them together and get enough to make a sweater, rather than having to go out. Some people, I know when I first started, I was a little nervous to go out and just buy 2 pounds of the same fiber.
Right.
That's a lot of fiber, and you're thinking, I don't know.
Right.
So this is a really good way to use up some of your fiber for a bigger project. You could do it with other things too. It could just be something like if you want to make an Afghan or some major shawl that took more yardage. This is a way that you can get additional yardage out of by combining a few bumps. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to do that in Tour de Fleece.
Oh, good.
So that's it for Whirlwind Romance.
Okay, future date. I have a future date.
I look at you.
You know,
you and I are like waiting for each other to say something.
So my future date is going to be the Tan House Brook shawl. And that was gifted to me by Jennifer Lanzones. I think that's how you pronounce her name. If it's not, I apologize. Otherwise known as Boston Jen. So I'm going to show you a picture of her shawl. It's beautiful, and this is really a pretty color that it's in. It happens to be in a gray shawl. So this was gifted to me, and I am going to cast on with it using my Gypsy Girl Creations transitions, and it's very bright. It's a gradient, no, I don't know if I'd call it gradient, but it's not a striping yarn. It goes from one color to another. So I was just thinking while you were talking how I was going to do this, and I think what I might do is ball them both up and keep the colors so that they're wider colors. Mm-hmm. So, knit a few rows, then go to the other skein with the same color, knit a few rows, and just go back and forth.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And the only reason why I'm doing that and not knitting a skein of one color and then going to the other skein with the other color is because I really don't want to weave in a whole heck of a lot of ends. So I'm going to see if this works. This is purples, blues, and bright green.
Oh, I love those colors. Those are my colors, people. Those are the colors I love.
So
that's going to be gorgeous.
Great. I think so.
Yes, I was also gifted that shawl, and I plan to spin for it or use, oops.
Don't get sick.
I just caught my foot in the cord. I actually might do it when I finish the brush cowl thing. I have a gradient that I spun from a loop bat a couple of years ago, and that might be the one that I knit this out of, because I have like 500 yards.
Yeah.
And I think it would make it really pretty.
Yeah, I just don't know how to knit it yet.
By the way, the people who are blowing up our phone said to tell everyone we said hi, so I'm doing it.
All right.
Diane and Jessalou say hello.
Their ears must have been ringing anyways. Well, Diane, we know, won't know about it.
I don't know. Apparently, she looked at our website today. I was like, what?
What for?
Because I have been, just sidetrack, I have been informed that my list of events does not include the Southern and Adirondack Fiber Festival or the Gathering.
Oh, is that what those meant?
Yes.
I read it. I'm like, what the heck?
At first, I thought I thought Diane had accidentally texted me, like, wrong. She's done that before. But apparently, Jess noticed Southern Adirondack was missing because she vends at that one. And then, apparently, Diane went on our blog website and said, and you're also missing this other one.
Oh, well, no.
So, I will be correcting that, but that is why they are blowing up our phones now. They're having a conversation that went on. We turned the volume off so that we can't.
Well, I turned mine off long ago because
I turned off the iPad.
You guys tend to go off on tangents at like 9 o'clock at night when I'm trying to go to bed. I'm like, see ya, bye.
See, my iPad I turned off. My iPhone I turn the sound off when I get in the bed. My alarm will still go off with the sound being off, but that way if somebody texts me or an alert goes off in the middle of the night, I don't have to listen to it, because that was waking me up. So one time somebody, long ago when I first got on Twitter, somebody tweeted me from California. It was like late their time, like in the middle of the night for me, and it brought me straight out of bed. And that's when I shut off a lot of those notifications, because I'm like,
I don't even get, how they'll pop up. I don't even get those anymore.
Oh, I still
because
get the
sometimes
pop-ups.
Yeah, no, I'll just look at.
If you look at this, still get the pop-ups.
Actually, I do. Never mind, I take
but
it
that
back.
doesn't make a noise.
No, oh my, 35. They've been busy.
Yeah. So.
No, God, no.
They're
no
having
noise.
a conversation with us, but we're not in it.
Nope.
Oh, text rings, you are
so future dates for you.
I don't really have any future dates except for the Tanbrook House shawl. Like I said, I think when I finish the Brush Creek Cowlette, I might cast that on with a loop bat that I spun a couple years ago. It's a gradient. I had talked with Boston Jen, who is the, now I can't think, Down Cellar podcast. Now I'm going to get that wrong and I'm going to be embarrassed. Anyway, I had talked with her on Ravelry about doing it in a gradient. So I think that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, Down Cellar Studio.
Down Cellar Studio. There we go. That's what I knew it was. I thought it was Down Cellar, but then I started to get nervous. Because I would hate to.
I just happened to look up my name on Google. Apparently there's another Sheila Duong who's quite active in a lot of things. But she does it differently. That's so weird.
Well, fortunately, that's not you. I like how we're doing this in the middle of the podcast.
Sorry.
We're just doing this in the middle of the podcast. Like,
Sorry.
we're going up on the side tangent. People are texting us, telling you to say hi.
I just was curious to know what would happen.
You're fine. So, anyway, that's it. I don't really have my future date other than the Tanbrook House shawl. So.
Yeah, I have that and finish my socks. I can't guarantee I won't cast on the Tanbrook House shawl before I finish my socks.
I like to have two projects. One that's really
like
simple
to,
and one that's...
I just know that you're going to find 1 week's probably going to have more of one project than another and vice versa, just because my knitting time is cut down drastically.
As you notice, that's kind of what I've been doing lately. Now that I've been spinning more, I have one that is a fun project and one that's more time consuming. So that's it for future dates. Crushes and heartbreaks.
Crushes and heartbreaks. So my brother had a hip replacement yesterday. His second.
Last week.
Tuesday. His second one. I saw him yesterday. I saw him Tuesday and talking back and forth, but I saw him yesterday. He looks fantastic.
How's he feeling?
He's feeling good.
Good.
Feeling good. He was walking. My husband and I agreed that it looked like he lost weight, which he might have because of the surgery and everything.
Also, when you take a lot of those pain meds, they make you lose your appetite.
Yeah. So we saw him. We did good. Went out with my sister-in-law yesterday.
Yeah. Was it fun?
Fun.
What did you do?
We went to Walmart. So my husband and I have separate accounts, which I know you think is really crazy sometimes. So he was paying for stuff.
It depends on how you use them.
He was paying for stuff at Walmart.
Yeah.
And so we made this bet. I usually don't bet unless I'm 100% right.
Yeah.
I was wrong, so I now have to pay the bill at Walmart.
Oh,
We
no.
bet, because we were going to split it. I would pay, it was $100. I was going to pay $50, he would pay $50. So we bet on what year his car was, because he's getting it fixed.
Yeah.
And I said, it's a 2005. He goes, I think it's a 2004, and we bet. So then I said, all right, if it's a 2003 or a 2006, we still split it.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, I think it's a 2003 or 2004. So me, thinking I was so right, said, all right, I'll give it to you, that you can bet 2003 or 2004 against my 2005. It was a 2003. We bought it in 2005. Pretty sure of it. So I now have a $100 Walmart bill that I got to pay for. I told him, I said, you're going to get it in in installments because I can't afford right now 100. I just paid a ton of bills.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was fun. And then we went to a restaurant with a Korean barbecue.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a good time. We were home so that I could do some things before I crashed because I had worked the night before at my overnight job. Still doing that one.
Hopefully that'll end soon.
Yeah, hopefully because I'm getting burnt out on it.
I would be.
Well, the other thing would be a 40. So other than that, let's see. Nothing that I really have to share.
My crush is I went to Hillary's wedding this weekend.
Saw tons of pictures.
Yes, I put a lot of pictures on Instagram, and I will put a picture of her wearing the shawl during her first couple dance here. And they were so sweet to me. When I arrived at the reception, I had a huge bridesmaid bag, even though I wasn't actually in the wedding. Like, I had the gift bag, a giant gift bag, and a really wonderful card from Hillary.
Oh, nice.
Hillary is the sweetest person. She's very sunshiny, and the wedding was beautiful. I liked what a happy bride she was, like the whole ceremony. But she's just really like that. She's very bubbly, and she's like Lois Light. Lois looked beautiful. She had on a gown. Her hair, I want to take a picture of her hair, the back of her hair, because it was real fancy.
Oh, was it?
My phone died right when I was taking it, so I didn't get a picture of Lois's hair. But she had, like, fancy hair. And I showed up in a dress that was identical to the bridesmaids' dresses in color. And Lois was like, wow, you totally dressed to match the theme of the wedding. And I was like, only by accident, because it was the dress that I wore to my sister-in-law's wedding 2 years ago. Because I don't like to dress up, so I have like one dress.
Yeah.
And I also matched my sister-in-law's wedding party by accident. So I'm like the person who shows up. People are like, are you in the wedding? I'm like, no, I just dress like the people in the wedding. So I did match that.
That's funny.
But the nicest thing that happened was after the dances and the dinner and everything, Hillary got up and made a speech about the shawl that I made her and gave me the bride's bouquet in a vase.
Oh, nice.
I know, I'm going to start crying again. I cried so hard at the wedding. Jack was worried because my kids were at the wedding, and he didn't know that people cried during the wedding, so he thought I was upset. It was one of those things where tears were just, I didn't have Kleenex. Tears were just going down my face like this. Because it was really beautiful. The weather was horrible. It rained and rained, but right when they went up to do the private blessing and light the candles, the sun came out and came through the stained glass at the front of the church. It was really beautiful.
Oh, I bet.
And then they had a lovely reception. It reminded me and my husband a lot of our own wedding. It was not a huge wedding, and it was just very family oriented. It was a lot like our wedding, so it was nice. And I did get to talk to Lois a bit. I didn't want to. I went up and said hello to her when I arrived, and I did stop for a few seconds to ask how she was doing during the reception, because I know this is an emotional time. But I didn't want to, like, because she had to be a hostess, and so did Hillary. So, but as we were leaving, the kids were like, Lois, when are we coming to your house? Because they love going to Lois's camp. And my husband got to meet her, and we got to meet Lois's husband, who is very sweet.
Good.
And it was just really a nice wedding. And if you're interested and you follow me on Instagram, you saw all the major pictures. But we had a great time. And I was really touched to be included and touched that Hillary made that speech. And I felt bad, I have to say, because her dress was bright white. I know. It was beautiful. And the shawl was just cream colored because it's natural. And I was like, oh, no. I felt bad. Right. So I'm happy that she even wore it, you know. I mean, it's a beautiful shawl, don't get me wrong, but I felt bad. But hers was really a bright, bright white. I could see that in the pictures. And I was like, oh, it's so much whiter than the shawl. It made me feel bad. But still looked good, though. Oh, it looked gorgeous. No, it's just that, it's hard to get a really white yarn. especially, it's just hard to because you have to bleach it, and I think
that would do damage to the
fibers.
I
think the finer weight that you get it, the harder it is. So I did the whitest yarn I could find, but she looked beautiful, and they will use the shawl as a christening blanket, when they have their first baby. So they'll like tie it to their first dance at the wedding, and it was also too warm to wear it all night. Let me tell you, we were dying.
Were you?
Yeah, because it was cool, but it was humid because it had been raining all day. So it just, you know how it is, and everybody's dancing, and we're all work up a sweat.
Yeah.
But I got lots of cute pictures of my kids dancing. They had a wonderful time. They each were given a gift bag at the table with a coloring mat and crayons and decks of card games. Like my son got Old Maid.
Oh, good.
And they had some candy and some stuff to do with, so that they were entertained at the table. And we were seated with the neighbors up by Lois's camp who happened to be from Quincy.
Oh, cool.
So we had a lot to talk about with them. It was a very good, and Jim was seated next to one of the bridesmaids' husbands, who is I think he's a headhunter for a tech field. So it was a really good table placement. We all had a great time at our table. We had like a fun table. So that was good. So congratulations to them. I'll be thinking about them. Hillary's been Instagramming pictures of them.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So
where were they going again? The Poconos?
I don't know if it was the Poconos, but they went to some kind of like a mountainy resort area. So I'm glad they're having fun. So that's it for crushes and heartbreaks.
Baubles and blings, I got nothing.
I have nothing. I know it's hard to believe, but festival season has finally ended for me. So I have nothing.
We go away in 2 weeks. We're going to Yogi Bear in Sturbridge. It's a campground.
Okay. I'm like, Yogi Bear?
Yeah, Yogi Bear campground in Sturbridge. We're meeting up with our friend Jamie.
Oh, good. Are you going to go to Old Sturbridge Village?
I don't know. Everybody keeps asking me that.
That's such a fun place. You don't like it? I loved it when I was
Well, you know what it is? It seems like every time I go there, it's like the dead heat of summer, and you're like,
oh, that's true.
No shade. There's nothing. There's like no ice water anywhere. I don't really think my kids would enjoy it.
I don't know. It depends on what your kids like. My kids would enjoy it because they would like watching how people do all this stuff the old-fashioned way.
Max would. Zachary's attention span is like, woo, pretty flower.
Yeah. He might not like it so much. Yeah. I don't know how boiling hot it's going to be in 2 weeks. Know. It's like it could go either way, right?
It really could.
I turned the heat on in my house 2 nights ago. I think Saturday night we had to turn the heat on in our house because it got so cold.
We haven't had the heat on. We just have blankets and wool socks.
Well, I have the AC on right now, not because it's hot in the house, but because it's so humid, like damp outside. I'm trying to get the dampness out of my house. So I just have it running on like dehumidify.
Right.
But the weather has been crazy.
Yeah, it really has.
It's just ridiculous. So who knows? Lily has her big recital. The recital is the weekend of Fiber Frolic, which is another reason why I'm not going. I'm not going to have time to go up there with the, there's a lot that has to be done to get her ready for a recital. And it's just too much. I just don't have the time to take another whole day off.
Right. No, I hear you.
So I am going to have to be satisfied with seeing Just at Fiber Revival.
When's that?
August. I'm hoping this year I can go. It seems like every year something happens. I was in California last year. I was in my sister's wedding the year before.
No big plans.
Not in August, but we can decide when we go to Lois's.
Right.
So I can just decide not to go that weekend. But that's pretty much it for Gossip and Innuendo. I am going to be adding those fiber festivals to the list, since it was so politely pointed out to me that I have left them off.
Shame on you.
I know. I'm just a bad person. What can I say? I'm just a bad person. Probably it's from all going to so many festivals, I've just lost my mind.
Yep.
And we'll be drawing for some prizes next week, so
yes.
Be sure to
It'll be longer next week. I'm sure we'll have a lot more to talk about.
Yeah. Because we have about 10 minutes cut out of this.
Yeah, because I got a phone call.
So.
Sometimes you get them.
Sometimes you get phone calls. Anyway, this is
Life goes on.
the most scatterbrained episode
I know.
ever.
We're scattered like the wind.
Yep. We got a lot going on.
We
got
do.
a lot going on right now.
A lot going on in life.
Yep.
Zachary had a follow-up last Monday, for his liver.
And how is he doing?
Oh, he's doing fabulous.
Fabulous.
They're like, does he have this problem? And we're like, no. They like, kind of said, why are you here? I mean, granted, they knew we were there because it was just a follow-up. So we, on the books, do not have to see them for a year. We have to get labs every 3 months.
Still, yeah.
But
that's just good medicine.
Yep.
To just, that way, if something changes, they'll see it right away.
Well, and then they also, the labs. They also know that if I feel that something's going on, I'll call them and get an appointment. If I was to call them on Thursday, they'd see me on Monday because his clinics are on Monday. So I know I could, and if it happened to be, say, Tuesday, they'd find a way for them to see me if I needed it. They trust my judgment on him. But here's something that I kind of thought was odd. So anyone who's gone to a doctor's appointment, for women especially, for years, we've been asked if we feel safe at home.
Right.
So they asked Zachary a question. I don't remember what it was. Then they asked if he smoked. And I thought the girl was joking. I'm like, yeah, okay. She goes, no, that's a legitimate question. We now ask kids if they smoke. I'm like, wow. I'm like, for one thing, I don't see a kid saying yes in front of the parents. But that's beside the point. But they asked that. Before they used to ask, are you around smoke?
But now
they ask.
Do they ask if kids vape? Because now e-cigarettes is the big thing for kids.
I was talking to a coworker about that. That's a whole nother. Her daughter never smoked, but took up
vaping.
I'm like, she goes, I don't know why. I'm like, that's stupid. She goes, yep. She's pissed, but that's beside the point. And she's talking about a 20-year-old daughter, but still.
Well, I think they might have said you can't sell even the e-cigarettes to anybody younger than 18.
Most likely not, because, I mean,
it has nicotine in it.
Yeah. So then they asked if he felt safe at home. And he's like, looking at them like, yeah. And the nurse looked at me and said, we're not asking about that for the parents. She goes, we're asking about that for the siblings. Because of the situation in the sense that these are sick kids, they get the attention. The siblings sometimes will take out their aggression on them because of the jealousy.
That's interesting.
I said, oh my gosh, I would never think of that because obviously my kids are good with each other. But it's made me feel better that that's what they're doing. But my son's looking at her like, yeah. But again, it makes you wonder, would the kid say yes if they weren't?
If the parent is right there.
Right.
It almost seems like that would be a question that they might want to ask.
Well, they might. The nurse might be trained enough to say, is he here for a hesitation? Or look over like, what do I say, Mom? Just look, because I'm not sitting right next to him. I'm sitting across from him. So they may be looking for certain cues. I don't know.
But that's interesting.
It was interesting. So I ended up saying something to Max about it. I'm like, so be careful. And he goes, oh, they're right, though. He said something like, they're right. I'm looking at him. He goes, he does annoy me. I'm like, yeah, but not because of his issues. He goes, no, just because he's annoying. I said, we all know that. I said, we all know that.
Every younger sibling annoys.
Oh, yeah, my brother, he could tell them a gazillion stories about how I annoyed him. But otherwise, Zachary's doing very well.
That's awesome.
I'm excited.
And with that huge, disorienting, sidetracked
little
episode,
this,
scatterbrains, kind of confetti episode. We just threw it all up in the air and it came down however it wanted to. Surprise! Have a great week.